Hello, everyone, or anyone. Just going to take a few moments here, see if anyone is around, and also perhaps just start jumping right into everything. Happy Sunday. I definitely felt the nudge to come on. I know it's been a while, but it's just been so many things going on. So there's a lot to share today. And then there was one point where I had a video, but I just couldn't get it to upload. So sometimes it just be like that. Hello, Transcode du jour, Mau Mau. Happy Sunday. So I'm just going to dive right into it. I don't really know what we're going to talk about today. As usual, we're just going to kind of be spontaneous and let the space, let the energy speak for itself. I did call this shedding the old skin because I feel like there's just so much transformation happening right now, and it feels like such a catalyzing time as usual, more and more. Um, so, for me, and I'm sure for you guys as well, it means a lot of dying and a lot of being reborn. So I titled this Shedding Your Old Skin, which is multi-layered, no pun intended, but I don't know, I got this like facial and it makes your skin peel. I don't know, I guess you can't really tell that much in the camera, which is probably a good thing, but um, I don't know, that's just silly, but it kind of is like symbolic, I think, for just how I feel in general, and probably how a lot of you feel as well, is just shedding the skin and continuing to let go of so many things in our life, and to get to the core of it, I guess, letting go of so many attachments and identities. And sometimes it's so free and easy, and sometimes it's really, really hard to let go of some of these things. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. And shedding the bags. Oh dear. Um, I hope not. um, but either way, I mean, it is like just shedding the artificial, really. For me, it feels like burning away. It feels like burning away like all of these like illusions and attachments to the illusion. So I'll probably get more into that. Um, Hello, JT Nugget, Dizzle, Elo Renello. Everyone, thank you again for tuning in. And if there's anything you guys want to share, of course, or talk about, feel free to put it in the chat. Um, I know it's been a while. It's like a whole new reality now. It's like a whole new era. I can't remember the last time I posted a video, but ever since that eclipse, things have just been so radically different. So if you're feeling that, you're not alone. I think we're all feeling it. Maybe some people are more like conscious or sensitive to it, but like it really is a profound shift. And I can feel it, I can see it, I can smell it. Like it's just very apparent. It's crazy, going through this experience. And we are doing it. So here we are. I just got done. Um, Working out and meditating. So I just kind of feel like I'm floating right now, to be honest. But I really wanted to come on and just share this love and share this energy. And like I said, I don't even know. Like, there's so many things I want to share, but right now I just sort of feel like I'm floating, if I'm being honest. Hello, AT Jazzman. So I guess I'm just going to start riffing off of some of the things that I've been experiencing and just sharing, and hopefully it's helpful or inspirational or informative in some way for you guys. Where to even begin? For me, things have been very just very miraculous, to be honest. Lots of like really bright light and love, like that I've never felt before, it feels like. Um, Also really intense pain and fear, but it's interesting. It's so interesting because it's like I feel like the pain and the fear is much more tolerable now because like I've just, it's like deeper, but at the same time I've been learning, and with this experience that I've been given, that we've all been given, learning how to navigate it with so much more grace and love and compassion and just being able to stand in it and not be so um rattled by it, I guess. But it's so hard to explain because it's like I do get rattled, but like even the rattling, it doesn't rattle me. I don't know how to explain that one. But just like really surrendering to God and to love and to what is and to what is unfolding. Radical acceptance, radical presence, radical appreciation. And I want to talk about that today too. Hello, Matthew. So good to see you too. I've been loving your videos, man. They've been so resonating with me. You really have helped me a lot. Hello, Apocalypse Theory, Cecil. That's so funny. That's what it feels like. Um, it really feels like that. It's so funny. Um, but where was I going with that? I don't even know. It's just there's just so much going on. Yeah, but so really just like it's amazing. And another thing I've been noticing that's so interesting to me, I don't feel this all the time, but from more than usual, I've been noticing a lot of times I'll be feeling these like very opposite feelings um simultaneously and like really intensely. I don't know. Like sometimes I'll feel like really um like lots of peace and calm, but also lots of anxiety or like very like restful, but also restless. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know if this is like part of like a resolve of duality or something. I don't know, just throwing that out there. But yeah, talking about shedding the old, I want to riff on that for a second because I feel like this is just an important theme that we're all learning and doing. And, I just want to say if you're starting to feel more, remind yourself it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. I think part of this is becoming more energetic, which means becoming more sensitive, which means feeling more. um, and starting to be more conscious of a lot more things, a lot more of your darkness being revealed to you. When more light comes in, it means all the things that have been unconscious start being revealed to you. And so I see a lot of people, who think, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. And really, it might just be that you're starting to awaken to deeper parts of yourself or of reality. So, just a reminder to have so much love and compassion and forgiveness and grace for yourself and for others, because it's really the whole point. If you're not, learning how to, not just learning, but really practicing how to open your heart and have more love and compassion for yourself and then for others, um what's the point? Like what is even the point? It's really about, that really is, you want to talk about awakening and enlightenment. So much of it is just really starting to not just understand, because it's like this is so much beyond the mind. Like I think we really gotta, we've already like done so many things with the mind. A lot of the things that we're, at least I'm speaking for myself, I'm learning and doing, it has a lot more to do with my heart and my body. And what I mean by my body is like actually embodying the things that my mind has already known. Um, there's a big difference in I think a lot of this evolution is physical. So, you can know these teachings or have this wisdom, but I think when your reality really starts to change big time, like unrecognizably so sometimes, when you really start embodying these teachings or embodying the things that you want to create, the things that you want to experience. And, I've been talking about embodiment a lot. I just think it's really important. Um, and it has to do with being in a feeling state and being conscious of your feeling state, and really, I don't know, there's really no other word than like embodying, like actually holding in your body the consciousness that um, you're thinking about abundance, or you're thinking about all of these things, embodying it and feeling it in your body. When you're feeling it in your body and you're holding that, these like vibrations, and we can talk more about, I guess, like ways to do that. Again, really just by starting to feel more. And I think meditation, any form of meditation, I don't know if like I meditate a lot. I don't know. I feel like it's a kind of a must. Um, for me at least, I guess there's different ways you can meditate, but just getting still, just being in stillness, being in silence, to me, this is like the greatest thing. Because being in stillness, being in silence, doing nothing genuinely is like the best thing I think that we can do, because it's being in that space where we're not trying to distract ourselves. We're not trying to get out of something. We're not trying to get into something. We're not trying to escape the present moment, which is such a deep program. Trying to get out. It's like if you just watch your automatic self, just look throughout your day how often you're trying to get out of something or trying to get into something or trying to escape your situation, your circumstances. And I've just been, you know, really experimenting, I guess, more, I should say, like what happens when I just be, like really just be in it and stop trying to change it and fix it and get out of it. That's a practice for me, just really being in it. Um, what was I saying? Embodiment. Yeah, but really embodying these things, but and being in the stillness and being in the silence, because there's something about being in that nothing, being in that stillness, being in that silence. And your ego, I'm telling you, your ego will most likely resist the fuck out of it, because it's like the ego hates stillness and silence. It's like torture, and I've been noticing that a few times, like, where my ego is like, it's like a golem, it's like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It's like, no, like my precious, my distractions, my escapism, my whatever. Um, but anyways, my whole point with the stillness and the silence and why it's so important, I think, throughout the day, are just to have moments where you genuinely aren't trying to do anything, is because it's in that silence where you can close your eyes and just be still. Just try to just be still. And it's like you'll start to see it all. You'll just start to see all like the inner machinations of your mind and just observe it. Just watch it. Don't get attached to it. Just watch it. Watch the thoughts, watch the feelings. And it's almost like an amusement park. Like if you really watch it, you just start seeing like all of these sort of programs and things and energies, whether you're a visual person or not, you'll see it, you'll feel it, you'll sense it. You'll just sense all of this energy, like sometimes like moving around you like a tornado, like a hurricane. It's crazy. And if you just sit long enough, you know, it's almost like you can't even ever sit long enough. But if you just sit long enough and you'll know, and just observe, there'll come a point where you see it and you realize that you're not it. And so you just watch it, and eventually, just by being there and doing nothing, it all will start to settle down tremendously. And then you'll start to have like this clarity come in. Um, because it's just the energies are so intense these days, and if you're not like staying focused on your path or on whatever you're really consciously, I guess, trying to stay focused on, you'll find yourself kind of like, it's very possible to get swept away in like a million different things. And for most of the ego side of things, like the ego likes that, the ego kind of wants to get swept away into these things, because when you sit in silence, it's kind of more like the death of the ego. So that's my thing about that's one thing, I guess, that I've been really learning, is this big sit with everything that's arising internally and external, to like work it, and a big part we work it is by seeing it, being aware of it, being conscious of it, acknowledging it, whatever it is. Maybe it's a feel, like getting to the core of whatever it is, you know. It's not the external circumstances, you know, it's the underlying energy. This is just, again, all of this is just my experience. Like, this is, I'm not obviously like any type of guru. I just come on here and share my stuff, and hopefully it's helpful. But you know, I think you know, it's like seeing it and sitting with it, acknowledging it, not resisting it, not trying to hide from it, not, and this is so big, not just getting stuck on the stories of it, because I see people doing this like very often. I think it's one of those old programs, one of those old skins, I guess you could say. Um, is just getting so obsessed with the story and the justifications and the reasons of why you feel the way you feel. And I'm not saying like, you know, that isn't a part of your process, because it is, you know, you don't have to bypass it. Don't shame yourself for it or anything. But I'm just saying, you know, there comes a point where like it's like it's time to let go of the story, because the story is just keeping you hooked in this loop of not feeling, and just like moving through it, you know. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of a mind trick. It's so crazy how much we're controlled by our minds, and I really don't think that's like an organic thing. Like, I don't think that's like really truly like a natural or godly way of being. I don't think we're supposed to be controlled by our minds. I think we're supposed to use our minds, which are amazing tools and parts of us. Um, but to be, you know, that's why they call it mind control, because the mind is capable of being very, very controlled, you know. So there's layers to that. It's like, yes, the mind, literally, the human mind has literally been programmed like a computer, way more than we can even possibly realize. Like, it's so deep and pervasive. The mind control is so deep and pervasive. I think that's why we all have to be so humble, because it's so much deeper. It's so much more. It's so deep. And I don't say that to be like discouraging, because you know, we're capable of freeing ourselves from all of it. It's just, you know, it's a process. But so the mind is very, you know, there's lots of mind. Not only is there lots of mind control and deep patterns in our minds, but I don't know. I don't really feel like our mind is even supposed to be what leads us. Ultimately, I think our mind is supposed to be what accompanies us. Um, so it's a lot different when you start. And again, I'm being humble because this is all new to me, but I feel like I've been living in a way that is, I'm less in my mind than ever, and it's a really interesting way of living when you really just start feeling more in your heart and you start feeling more in your body, and you're using your mind, but it's not like your mind is like, because again, if you really start being on this, like being more aware of your thoughts and your feelings and the stuff that's going on, and not being completely identifying with any of it, um, you really start noticing how much your mind is like always kind of giving out these orders of like things to go do or things to go follow. And again, when you start questioning that, I don't know, you just start questioning, like, where is this even coming from? Is this really me? Is this really what I want to do? Or is this a program? Is this something coming from my trauma? Is this coming from my fear? Uh, it's just really interesting. So that's something I'm shedding. I feel like I'm shedding a lot. You know, I'm sure we all are. We really are entering a whole new reality, it feels like. Um, you know, and something I want to say too about pain that's been coming up a lot for me. If you've been feeling any type of pain, and I'm talking about pain as in um, fear, guilt, shame. Shame is a big one. I'm going to talk about shame in this video for sure, but any kind of pain, fear, anger, rejection, abandonment, you know, we all have pain. Everybody has pain. And I feel like everybody here probably knows that. You know, it's like something it's something we deal with as human beings. Like, there's always something we're doing or growing or evolving or working on. It's just part of it. Um, so having a healthy relationship with pain is important. Because it's like as long as you're a human being, you're going to be experiencing contrast. And it doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong with you. It's just part of our journey. It's part of our evolution. It's part of our growth. You can't grow without being outside of your comfort zone. And that seems to be the nature of this energy is that, at least as far as I'm aware, for most of us, we're not really allowed to be in our comfort zone anymore. It's like you get either you jump off the ledge or something's going to push you off the ledge. And it's really a blessing because getting out of your comfort zone is really what makes for being a great person you know so anyways, the thing about pain that I want to share is like, if you I think this is really true for me, and maybe you can try this in your own life, in your own practice. Pain to me is an opportunity to burn away the illusion. It's an opportunity to burn away my attachments and addictions to the illusion. Something pain does is it shows you where you're still attached to the illusion. And it gives you the opportunity to let it go. And part of that letting go, at least for me, is feeling. And I can't bypass that. I know I can't bypass that. I don't know if everyone is necessarily as sensitive as me, but I know I be feeling a lot. And I don't judge myself for that. I don't beat myself up. I don't think about it that much, really. I just go through it. I just feel through it. I just let the pain burn away the illusions. And that's really it. And sometimes, again, it takes, 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes days. And I really don't worry about it. I just would let the pain purify me. That's really how I see it. I don't see it as this horrible thing I need to get out of, or like I shouldn't be feeling pain. Why is pain arising? I need to go find something to alleviate this pain. I just see the pain as a part of life, and I see it as a purifying force. Because again, when I'm feeling pain, it's usually showing me areas of myself that need more love, or maybe even areas of like anything, areas of just consciousness that need more love. And I know that I am capable. I know I am light, as we all are. I know I am capable of shining my light. I know that this pain wouldn't be arising in my consciousness if I wasn't able to shine my light upon it and transform it, because we just rock with God like that. We just have that level of faith, and we don't have to be afraid of the pain. The pain is just a part of the process. That's why I call this transforming the darkness, because this is really what this is about. This is about really getting into the nitty and the gritty of this evolutionary journey. And I also know that every time I have deep pain, eventually there's going to be an amazing breakthrough. And I remember that, and I know that. And by remembering and knowing that, it also allows me to have more faith, and it allows me to just feel through this stuff without, again, all of this mental chatter of like, what is this, or how could this person do that, or all of these like questions, and needing to understand, and needing to um, all this mental bullshit. Frankly, it's just like, I just don't think, I'm just sort of letting all of that go. That's part of this, the shedding the skin for me. The mind doesn't need to like be in control of everything. That's kind of like, I think that's the ego. Like the ego basically the ego is always going to want to control everything, because the ego, the old way of being on this planet, and we have to like honor this to some extent, because it's real. It's like we're literally, it feels like we're shifting operating systems. So it's like this old way of being, this old skin I'm talking about. It's not something we have to hate and judge. It's literally the mode of operation that we have been in, of basically trying to control. We control things to feel safe. We manipulate the external circumstances around us so that we can feel a certain way. And if you haven't noticed, that whole paradigm is crumbling so badly right now. And you might, feel yourself suffering because of it, or you might be seeing other people who are still so involved and like invested in that paradigm, really kind of like losing control, and freak, a lot of people freak out when they lose control. because that whole energetic system is crumbling. Like it's like that whole, I don't know how else to explain it. And I really do observe this. I'm curious if you guys see this in your life. I'm assuming you do. It's literally crumbling. It doesn't work anymore. Like, and I think we're just going to keep seeing that. So people who are still so subscribed to that paradigm are losing their minds because it's like, and it's valid in a way because it's like especially like I guess like the older generations, um, the reality that they grew up in no longer exists, you know, and some of them know that and recognize that, and some of them are not yet able to recognize that reality they grew up in is gone. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. I know that's a bold statement, but really though, that's just my observation. And so this new energy is all about genuinely creating from the inside out. And that's a big change. And that's why this evolution is gradual. And that's why a lot of these evolutionary jumps we're all making, you know, sometimes they're swift and smooth, and sometimes it's like an ego massacre rough. But really, I find that's part of what we're really learning how to do here is to remember who we are and then create from the inside out, create the experiences we want from the inside out, which is not by controlling circumstances. Um, it's not the ego. It's a completely, it's a co-creation with God. And it's literally like letting Jesus take the wheel. It's a lot of faith. It's a lot of trust. You know, it is setting your intentions, and you have free will, and you have the ability to choose a lot of things. You have the ability to create a lot of things, you know, but it's just a different way of creating. You know, it really is creating from the inside out. And something that's so important, I think, is again, you know, I talk about this a lot lately, especially, but letting go of our addictions to the external circumstances. It's totally connected to this because it's like when you really understand and start to remember who you are, which we all are doing and we all will continue to do, it's a natural part of the evolution, is to awaken. As you awaken, you remember. When you remember who you are, you realize how ludicrous it is to try to create from the outside in. It doesn't make any sense. Um, it just doesn't make any sense because everything that's powering your reality is literally within you, you know? So it's like, to try to control it from the outside in, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's part of the illusion. It's part of the delusion. So, you know, a lot of times pain is something that when that happens, you know, it hurts because it's a death. You know, it's that Scorpio energy. It's like that you got to die and be reborn. That's why being on this earth at this time is such a brave task. And it's really, I think, reserved for some of the bravest souls, including all of you, to be here at this time because this is a time where we're gonna have to be dying and being reborn a lot. You know, at least I know I am. I'm just accepting it, and it's not a bad thing at all. You know, it's just the ride of life, and it is very rewarding and it is very intense. But you know, it's just part of the ride of life. Um, you know, so with that pain, it a lot of times that pain can show us where we're still trying to grab onto something that's false, and so it's good to be able to see that and let that go. And the humility it takes a lot of humility. And a lot of this stuff we're transmuting isn't even necessarily ours. You know, there's a lot of stuff that many of us are dealing with that is our family lineages or in the collective. And really, it doesn't even matter. It's just the whole point is like we're like transmuting a lot. We are. And it is an amazing service to yourself and to those around you and to humanity to be feeling and transmuting these deep patterns. Deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. I mean, I hope you guys can just like know and feel like what I'm trying to articulate because um the way that we have been living is so programmed. And again, I'm not saying this to try to discourage us. In fact, if anything, it actually to me is encouraging because as we break ourselves free of the mind control of the false illusions that we've thought were real, we become so free, so empowered, so blissful. It just gets better and better and better. It really does. Like I said in the beginning, it's like I've been feeling more love and genuine light and strength than ever. And the fact that I'm also feeling deeper pain than ever, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain that. It's like I feel deeper pain, but it bothered me. It just is, it's just part of my experience. It's like, yeah, it's just, moving through, it's like I'm able to let it move through me, with a lot more grace and ease. So it's like, it's amazing, it's kind of like, I think we are like evolving to a higher paradigm where duality is going to be less and less, but we're not necessarily there yet. We still have a lot of duality to be in and move through. And so, there's a lot of these opposites that in a way it's like we just have to come to terms with, pain and pleasure exist and they're both kind of two sides of the same coin. And it is really okay, you know. I love you all so much, and thank you so much for all of your beautiful things that you're sharing in here. I'm definitely going to come through because I love sharing. Thank you so much, beautiful Mau Mau Transcode du Jour, for the super chat 999. Such a beautiful number. Metal Demon, if you're still here. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Love. Can't get any better than that. Yeah. Most people are in fight or flight all the time. They can't meditate. Body's constantly pumping cortisol. Everyone is stressed out. Hurricane truth, too. Yeah, that's so true. And I think that's why we have to learn again how to have so much compassion for ourselves and for others. And compassion is not just a byproduct of the ascension of the evolution. Again, like compassion is kind of the whole point. I really think so. I think your ability to have compassion, your capacity for compassion and love, again for yourself and for others and for God and for all beings, it's really the whole point. The mind will miss that. It's so funny. The mind will think it's about, oh, I need to go to the next dimension and do all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's part of it, but like, I think the whole point really is being able to actually hold more love. And I think that's really more like the gist of what God is. Hello, one Om. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hello, Mike, New, Namanda. At times it feels psychotic to flip from creating externally to internally, then have less trust to do it. But what else is left to do but go crazy? It's interesting. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. This is hard work, you guys. And something I said in this one video I made that I never got to upload because it just wouldn't for some reason, but maybe I'll still try to upload it. I think it's supposed to be hard. And I don't mean that in a like you have to struggle kind of way because I don't believe in that. But I think that we're breaking through the barriers of some serious, I don't even know how to explain it. We're breaking through the barriers of slavery. So a lot of this work is hard. And it's not that something wrong with you, because it's hard. I think it's kind of supposed to be hard because it's like, it's evolving you, it's stretching you. It's meant to grow you. It's meant to grow you beyond your comfort zone. And in those moments, I understand that sometimes when you're in those moments, nothing makes sense. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably feeling that, from time to time, because I know I feel that. And when I feel that, I really just accept it. I really just, um, I just trust it. Trust is such a big word right now. Really trusting what you're in and what you're going through. Because that's another thing with the ego is the ego has its ideal of what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be working on. Ego always wants to be productive for whatever it's thing is that it wants to have so that it can feel worthy and safe in the world. And the brutal thing is that your soul is like a lot of times going to just naturally challenge that. And it's kind of like we have to keep recalibrating with what our soul is actually showing us, what is actually, um, how we actually allow in deeper worthiness or deeper safety or deeper love or whatever this is. Because I know that so well, and I've seen that on so many layers, and I'm just on another deeper and more refined layer now is, my ego thinks I need to be one thing and doing all this stuff, and it has this whole like program, you know, and I can respect it and honor it, but then I have to also be open and receptive and humble to what my spirit, to what my soul, to what God is actually showing me. And again, a lot of the time, it's not what the ego expects. That's kind of what makes this whole thing, like you said, very, um, it can make you feel crazy. I don't know. I just thought that was a really good point, Amanda. Yeah. So, what else? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else? Another thing I've been noticing a lot is for me, and this is really interesting, and I hope this is helpful to someone, is shame. Oh my gosh. Shame, I think shame is like maybe like the lowest feeling that a human being can feel. It's so dark and dense and just feeling shameful, feeling guilty, feeling embarrassed, feeling ugly or feeling unlovable or unworthy, these kinds of feelings and energies. I just want to talk about them for a moment because I know that I feel them. And I'm sure, there's a lot of people who feel them, whether they realize it or not. So, like everything, I guess, I just, when that kind of stuff comes up, and it's not even like from doing anything necessarily wrong, like it can literally be just from existing. Human beings have a lot of shame, and a lot of shame simply for just being them, because we've all been so programmed to try to conform that we need to fit into this model, we need to be this certain way. And so I've been realizing some of the ways that I still feel shame in myself simply for being different or being unconventional and not being perfect, not being flawless, because I'm not flawless, because no one is really flawless, and yet we're all God's fingerprints. And I think this is so important. So that's something I've been kind of working with and starting to embrace more is just, you know, be again like that, like I've been talking about with like these negative feelings, which they're really not negative, they're just energies, learning to see them. Because the worst thing you can do with things like that is try to hide from them or try to repress them or deny them or project them on other people. Or this is something people like to do, come up with these elaborate mental loops or labyrinths or stories, really stories for why they have shame that justifies their shame instead of just acknowledging that they have shame. Shame is shameful. Just like fear is scary and people are scared to feel their fear, shame is shameful and people are ashamed to feel their shame. It's a deep one. It's weird how we loop on ourselves like that. It's not even the initial emotion that causes the suffering. It's the reaction to the emotion. And again, it's the ego's coping mechanisms because the ego doesn't feel safe feeling these emotions. So it comes up with like these crazy like Rube Goldberg machine type things to like just whatever we can do, these labyrinths to just avoid feeling that because like I can't feel that, that's just not safe, and we have to honor that because there were times in our life where maybe it wasn't safe for us to feel that. That's the whole point of the ego's protection is that it protects us from what we cannot handle. But again, as we grow, as we evolve, we're able to handle more. So that's, again, that's why these things start to come up. And the bravest, boldest, most alive, living thing we can do, the most harmonious thing we can do, I believe, in my experience, is just dive right in. Just dive right into the things you're trying to avoid within yourself. It's like the most beneficial practice you can probably have. I know a lot of people are obsessed with like cold plunges and stuff, and that's great, but like diving into your own like shit that you don't want to dive into is always going to make you feel so revitalized, once you move through it. So, yeah, it's interesting how that is. But, anyways, shame and guilt, for usually just existing, or maybe you have a reason to feel guilty. Maybe you did something you regret. You're a human being, we all do it. Um, really, really learning to and remembering to forgive yourself for that. And something I've been learning, feeling a lot of guilt, or shame, I guess I should say. It's triggering to people, and if you trigger people when you're just being you and they are nasty with you, and then it triggers you or makes you feel insecure, it also shines a spotlight on like where you're still maybe holding on to some kind of guilt. And what I've been learning with guilt is just basically, I don't know, like accepting it, seeing it, not trying to hide from it anymore, like really just embracing it and basically holding its hand as I continue onward with the things that I want to do in life, because there's a lot of things I'm doing in my life where I'm showing up in a way that I'm being seen, I'm being seen, I'm being perceived. And for a lot of people, that's scary. For me, that's always been really hard for me, even though I have all these things that, my soul wants to share. And so I'm kind of coming, more and more in, I don't know what the word is, I guess face to face with that, or just more in acceptance with that, more in love with that, just instead of trying to shame the shame, recognizing the shame, and feeling it and holding its hand as I continue onward with what I'm doing and allowing myself to be seen, if that makes sense. My whole point is just not letting it control me anymore. I don't want to be controlled by that. And I also don't have to do this like some kind of fight to try to get rid of it. Because the weird thing is like as you keep finding these ways of accepting your wholeness and who you are, without trying to get rid of it and all this stuff, but you start accepting and loving and appreciating all that you are, even the things that you think are negative or you don't understand. This strange thing really does happen where, like, a lot of these perhaps contradictions within yourself just start to dissolve, and things start to just harmonize. This has been my experience again and again. That's why I always say, you can't have too much love and compassion first for yourself, because it really does start with you. I really think we can only have so much compassion for others as we really have for ourselves. Having that compassion for yourself, having that grace for yourself, having that love for yourself. You are allowed to be who you are. And it's really okay to be different or to be unconventional. It's like, especially going into the age of Aquarius, like a lot of us are asked to be different and to be okay with our individuality. We don't all have to be the exact same or think the exact same things or have the same exact lifestyle or any of this stuff. It's not so black and white. So, yeah, that's important. That's important. I feel like the shame one is important because, again, there's so much of it and you can really see it. People are afraid to be who they really are. Um, I think that's one way that we can really assist in that way is just showing up and allowing ourselves to be who we really are. And again, this is really hard, especially for the empaths, especially for the sensitive people, the people pleasers. I feel like this is all connected because when you feel that way, you have this sensitivity to how other people feel. You have this sensitivity to how other people are perceiving you and their feelings. So it's really easy to get mixed up in that and get, I guess, distracted by that. When really, it's time to be you. Yeah. Be you to the fullest, and you are beautiful. I just saw that. Be the change. So true. Um, be you. Be unique. Be who you really are and shine bright. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it's really so true. It's one of those reminders I think we all need time and time again. That was another alternative title to this video. I was meditating, and that's kind of what came in is lively up. Lively up yourself. I don't know why I haven't listened to Bob Marley in a long time, but his energy's been coming into my field. But lively up yourself. Be you. It's okay. It really is. And if you feel shame about who you are and you feel embarrassed to be who you are, it's okay. Just recognize that. Don't hide from it and let it control you from the shadows. Because again, all this stuff that we're doing, so much of it is about the light, this new light that's coming in. So much of it is this light coming in and shining on the unconscious, aka the darkness, the shadows. So it just stirs everything up. It just shines a light on all this stuff that's been hidden, within the collective and within ourselves. And so there's a lot of power in that. Remember this. Whatever you're working on right now, if you feel like you're struggling with something, just the fact that you have awareness of it already tells you that you're going to transmute it. It already tells you that because you already have the awareness of it. You already have the awareness of something that maybe a week ago or a month ago or a year ago or even a day ago, you might not even have had any awareness of it all. So as soon as you shine your awareness of it, it's not always instant in the physical realm, but as soon as you really do shine your awareness and you see through the eyes of God, which is what we're doing, we're witnessing things and we're vessels allowing for this consciousness to like come in and work it's working its magic, this consciousness that is God, that is us. There is no separation. Allowing it to come in and see in that awareness, that seeing is the light shining upon the darkness, and it's blowing the world up. And that's why I am so excited and I'm so inspired because I can see it clearly. I don't know about you guys, but I really can see the way that the world is lighting up right now. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's crazy the things that are blowing up right now, for a lot of reasons, but like one big reason simply being from all the eyes all the eyes that are seeing, that are seeing and shining their light upon this darkness, upon the shadows, upon what's been hidden, that it can no longer be hidden. All these systems and structures and slaveries and nastiness and grossness, horrible things that are going on behind the scenes, everybody's been ignorant of, besides a very small, tiny group of people. It's just it's all blown up now and it can't be unseen. Once it's seen, it can't be unseen. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But it's the same. So that's happening on the collective scale. I see it everywhere. It's clear as day. I mean, it's happening. It is happening. We're doing it. We are all doing it. So congratulations on that, I guess. But it's the same thing with your own individual life. Once you start having awareness and more awareness of these things, in your life, the transmutation process has already begun. And as long as you keep at it and you see it through and you don't give up on yourself, um, you know, then it's like things are in motion that can't be undone. As soon as you see it, and you are committed to this path of love and expansion and growth in God, that's really it. That's the ticket. And that's the liberation, is being committed to that no matter what. And it's a crazy ride. I mean, it'll have you in these places that you genuinely never would have imagined. It'll have you in these places that you never knew were possible in all ways, in all spectrums. And through it all, you just keep getting this deeper and deeper relationship with God to the point where eventually you realize you are God and there literally is no separation. And that's what going into this 5D thing is actually realizing that there is no separation between you and God and there is no separation between you and humanity. And I know that's a lot for the finite mind to try to grasp. I know for myself even it's like there's only an extent that I can even understand what that means. Like I know we're one with God, but like as I continue on this path, it starts to reveal itself to me more and more how massive and amazing and crazy that actually is. And that's what we're remembering and awakening to, that we are God incarnated. There is no separation. It's like we're like these avatars. We incarnated on this earth because of how much love we have for the earth. Crazy. It's crazy to me how much love we had for life to come here and and have these constant ego deaths that are so brutal. Like that's some serious love, and that is really who you are, and we are so loved. That's another thing that was coming up in my meditation, not just for me, all of you, for all of us, is that you are so loved. And please remember how loved you really are in this life and beyond the veil. You are so loved. you know Great job. Give yourself credit, give yourself compassion. You're human. Everybody's going through something. We're all in the same boat. That's what's so funny, is that we're literally all in the same boat. And I know there's a lot of people who try to act like they're not, like their life is perfect or they don't struggle. And just know that those people are either repressing their stuff or they're fronting. It's a front, because we're all human. It's not that we just get to this point where we never have contrast. We just learn how to rock and roll with the contrast. And we realize it's okay. It's all really okay. It's all really part of it. It's literally interconnected. Every time, like I said, whenever something falls apart, I and it's not that I don't break down and feel my stuff about it and go through it and just, sometimes just be like out here devastated. But I know at the same time, simultaneously, that it's about to be my greatest breakthrough ever, because that's the level of trust and faith I've cultivated on this path with life. And that's not only that, but that's been my experience time and time again. So I'm open to that. I'm open to receiving that. I'm open to receiving life. I'm open to trusting what life is doing. This new energy I'm talking about, where we're learning to create from the inside out. It's a whole new reality. And it's really about co-creating with God, with your soul, with your spirit, and trusting it, like trusting it, and you can trust it. And when you trust it, life just gets so much better, because you're not trying to control things from your ego anymore. You're allowing life to organically unfold. And you still have your intentions. It doesn't mean you don't have goals or intentions or things you want to experience or do. You do, but you just don't have this attachment to them. You don't have this control. You don't have this desperation and the fear about it. you know and that's really the game changer, when you really have these high visions and intentions you set for yourself and for your loved ones and for humanity, which I always recommend doing. I mean, that's just what I do. But then at the same time, you're very um you really detach your ego from it. You don't try to force it or control it. You don't need it. You're not desperate for it. You're not coming from this place of being an ingrate. That's the last thing I think I'll end on, because I know I've been going on now for an hour. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has been. But gratitude, appreciation. Let's talk about appreciation. Seriously, I wrote an article about this yesterday. Um, that is on my website if you want to read it. It was just a short little piece, but it's an important reminder, I think. And I know like everybody hears this all the time, but it really is so important, because there's only a certain level of like your level of appreciation for what you have right now will always mirror like the blessings that are able to come in for you. And I feel like that's just energetic physics. Like I feel like that's just a law. So like if you're sitting here and you're being an ingrate, and I've been there, we've all been there. There's no judgment about it. I'm just saying, I'm just being kind of blunt, because like I really want people to get this in the same way I really wanted myself to get this. When you're not appreciating what you have, no matter what your situation is, if you're not appreciating all the freaking blessings in your life, because I know that you have so many blessings in your life. You probably have running water and a home and a bed and food and water, and you probably have people who love you. You probably have a few things going on for you. If you're not genuinely making an effort to appreciate that and give thanks for that and bask in the glory of it, What are you doing? What the heck are you doing? What are you doing wanting more things? You're not even appreciating what you have. I'm so serious about that. It's such a game changer, you guys. Don't be an ingrate, because when you're an ingrate, you're going to be miserable. You know, that's most like that's when you see people who are miserable, they're usually very ingrateful people. Sorry, I'm getting passionate about this. And I'm not trying to be like harsh. I just really want people to get this, because once you really have appreciation for the things you have, genuinely, like you really just stop being desperate for these things that you think you want and need, and you really just put your full effort into appreciating what you have. Appreciate what you have up until the point where you genuinely like do nothing but appreciate what you have until you reach that point where it's like a natural habit. Because when you have, because, and it's not, and just do it for the sake of it, do it for the sake of it, because you're gonna be tapping into a higher state of abundance. This is literally how you get out of lack consciousness, how you get out of scarcity consciousness that a lot of people are afflicted with, you know, myself included, is because people are so ungrateful, you know. And there's something with like ungratefulness and unworthiness, you know, not that everyone isn't worthy of you know, of the love they desire, because they are, but I'm just saying it's like a parasite. If you're ingrateful and you're not appreciating what you have, I just don't even know what to tell you anymore. And I say this lovingly with myself too, because it's like it's such a it's just so important. I don't think I can even explain it any more clear than that. Have appreciation in your life, and you'll realize how rich you actually are. And when you start realizing how rich you actually are, as you are right now, without having to change or fix anything about your life, when you really get that going, you'll be a magnet for abundance. You'll be a magnet for opportunities. You'll be a magnet for miracles and blessings. And I promise you, you will. The more you embody appreciation and gratitude for yourself, for others, for the blessings you have in your life that many have been denied, you have these blessings. It's just such a game changer. That's why I'm being so passionate about it. I really want people to get that, because I know it's kind of cliche. Oh, be grateful. What are you grateful for? And we all have to go through our stuff. Nobody wants to hear that, you know, when they're going through pain. I get that. But, you know, for those of you who are ready and you're understanding what I'm saying, like appreciate what you have so much in your whole body, full body appreciation on a daily basis, as much as you can. And again, it doesn't mean you're bypassing the darkness. It doesn't mean you're bypassing anything. You know, I always, that's why sometimes it's hard to share this, because like I want to talk about this powerful love and light. And I also want to make it really clear that it's not about, it's also not about bypassing the ick and the cringe and the ouch and the pain and all that, because it's not, you know, it's all whole, it's all part of it. But I just can't emphasize the importance of appreciation. That will literally change your life, if especially if you're suffering and if you feel miserable in any type of way, desperate. Seriously, start practicing gratitude. Stop being an ingrate. You know, it's like nobody like it's not. It's just so rude. It's so rude to God and the universe to just be so ungrateful, you know. And then furthermore, you're ungrateful and you think you are entitled to more. You think you deserve more. You think that you need more to be happy, but really you're never happy. You're never satisfied because you're never grateful for what you even have. Even if you were blessed with more, you wouldn't even appreciate it. So, what would be the point? Versus when you are grateful and you could have nothing and you could be the happiest person in the world. And we see this all the time. You know, I think that's a big part of like, maybe that's like a big thing in um, like this Western civilization, is people have all of these luxuries and they literally don't give a shit. And they're so, people are so ungrateful. Not to generalize, but it's crazy, you know. And then there's some people in the world that are so poor, don't have anything. They're just happy to live another day. It's just weird. I don't know. I don't like making stereotypes like that, but you know, it's just something that I've seen. So yeah, be, you know, find ways to appreciate, because it's really about falling in love with life. You know, have you, I hope, you know, that all of you have had the experience, or maybe um will have the experience or are having the experience or whatever it is, the experience of falling in love. I hope everyone has had that experience. Genuinely, it's such an amazing experience, like falling in love with someone. And if you can start, kind of in that same way, falling in love with life. There's so many things to love about life. And it goes hand in hand with what I'm saying about appreciating. It takes effort because that's another part of our mind control is like we're so programmed to focus and fixate on what's lacking and what's wrong. And sometimes that's okay for like genuinely problem solving. So, but I'm just saying, so like a lot of us are just wired that way. That's how our parents were, and their parents, had to literally struggle. And it's like after you get to a certain point beyond these generations that literally did have to struggle just to live, just to have food. It wasn't guaranteed like it is for us now. So it's just like it's an evolution, it's an adaptation. Your mind's probably not wired to be grateful. So that means you have to actually put in the effort to be grateful, and just don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. It might be hard at first, but if you just keep putting in the effort to have appreciation, realize how lucky you are, how blessed you are to see the sun, how blessed you are to have legs, to be able to breathe, to be able to walk around and do whatever the heck you want, pretty much. Um, just realizing how blessed you are. And I promise so many more blessings can come in. And just falling in love with life, falling in love with everything about life. It's an amazing way to live. It's an amazing way to live because it's just that's how you get onto the new reality. That's like how you get onto the new program, or I don't know if that's the best word. Even program is a traumatic word. But that's how you get onto the new paradigm, starting to create from the inside out, starting to remember who you are, starting to remember that you're not separate from God, by falling in love with life. Do whatever you need to do. Sometimes you got to try new things. Like go out there and try new things and get out of your comfort zone or play, have more play in your life, more creativity, things that you like to do as a child are really important for the soul. Um, just falling in love with life, being in nature, like taking time to appreciate how blue the sky is. I mean, you can get into these states where like the sky is so blue, like you feel like you're about to like be like turned on by it or something. It's like too much, but I'm serious. It's like these things can be very so much more than we realize. When we really fall in love with life, like life is like your perfect lover or something, and start appreciating it, start healing your relationship with life, and you'll be amazed. It's like you get on this new vibration when you really start living in a way that you're appreciative of everything. You're appreciative of the contrast. You're appreciative of the lessons. You're trusting and appreciating what life is serving you, and you really actually are appreciating it. um, you jump onto a new timeline, you jump onto a new way of being, and it's worth whatever effort it takes for you to get there, because once you're on that wavelength, I'm telling you, it's a different reality. That's the new reality that you know some of the old school boomers are not understanding. And I'm just trying to be funny, but um that's how you really get onto this new way of being in this appreciative state, because we're creating from the inside out. So when you're in this appreciation is the first step, and it goes higher, or deeper, or more holistic, or whatever the word is. It keeps going. It doesn't just stop at appreciation, but appreciation is like the first step, appreciating everything. And you'll start finding yourself being a magnet for synchronicities and miracles and all of these crazy things that start happening, and your life will start getting more and more magical, more and more flow. It does start getting easier, and it doesn't mean that you don't ever have pain or contrast. It just gets easier because you're appreciating it. It's life hacks 101. And this is the last thing I'll say, like this new reality that I'm speaking of, that we're all feeling now, is very receptive to your appreciation. It's very receptive to your appreciation. And so you'll really feel it. You'll really experience it more than ever before. More than ever before, you'll see your appreciation and love reflected back to you in higher qualities and quantities than ever before. I promise you. And so what do you have to lose by just trying and committing to that? It doesn't mean try it for one day or two, but committing to that, really living a more appreciative life. Just see what happens. It's for science. You'll be amazed. You can thank me later. Just kidding. But so much love to all of you. Oh my gosh. I just want you all to just feel so much love and gratitude. Thank you for your patience with me. I know it's been a while. Um, I know I need to just get on here and do the thing, more consistently because it always flows out. Oh my gosh. I just always feel so like it's like I feel so fulfilled after these videos, and I also feel like such a release. It's just this is such a beautiful dynamic of giving and receiving. And just thank you all so much. Hello, Spirit Free, Gakal, Be the Change, Elo Renolo, your take on astrology. I love astrology. It's not necessarily my greatest strength, but I do follow astrology. Like, it's not like something I necessarily obsess over because for me, I like to keep things intuitive. But like, if I really, but that said, if like my intuition is like, look at the astrology, then I will. Or if it just happens to come into my field. But I love astrology. I think it can be a really amazing tool for us. I actually just had an astrology reading with a lady named Britt Johnson, and it was a really awesome experience. She's really good at it. And it just really kind of affirms a lot of the things I guess I already knew about myself. I think it really is a blueprint. It's a very intellectual art, though, to me, astrology is. Thank you so much, One Ohm. So much love to you. Thank you. That really means a lot. Have gone through many doors on the way home. Shame wasn't the easiest one to open up, right up there beside fear. But once you've seen the toxicity of it, let's just say it's a great day in your life. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, I'm still going to repeat myself. It's so important. Shame is shameful to feel. So that's why when we have shame, which most of us probably have shame because it's part of being human, we don't want to feel it. We don't want to look at it. We think if we just push it away, it'll go away. And that's not been my experience. My experience is when you try to keep it in the darkness, it controls you more. So if you have shame, let it be seen, let it be loved, let it be felt, let it be fully seen, and hold its hand as you walk forward and do the damn thing that you're here to do, and see what happens. It'll naturally resolve. That's just my philosophy. Be the change. Be beautiful. Everyone else is taken. Be you. Exactly. Apocalypse theory. Hello. Metal demon. Yes, exactly. Gratitude. Another amazing channel there. Transcode du jour. Life loses sympathy for ingrates. That's funny. It's true. Spirit free. Sup, y'all. Another thing that's funny about faith and fear is, it's like both of them are kind of like you're giving your energy to something that's unseen. So it's like you can give your energy to fear, which again really is oftentimes false evidence appearing real, and you can just have this fear. And again, that fear is a hell of a drug. It makes you do crazy stuff. Like, have you ever just like been in fear? Like in retrospect, you were in fear, and you like look at the way that your mind was thinking when you were in that state and how irrational it is. And again, learning to let that fear as a energy move through you, because it has to just move through you, whether you sit with it, breathe with it, see it, recognize it, Feel it so it can move through, dance it out if you have to, shake it out, work it out, go to the gym, sing it out, write a poem, journal it out, something. Move the energy. We all have to learn how to move the energy as to not let it get stuck. And then really watch your thoughts. I know I repeat myself, but I just feel like this is so important. Is like, um, I just feel like that's probably one of the most common coping mechanisms for repressing uncomfortable emotions is getting stuck on the thoughts. If something's coming up and we're getting stuck on trying to intellectualize it or come up with a story about it or trying to understand it. You don't have to understand everything. You really don't. That's my experience. You really don't have to understand everything because you're not going to understand everything. Your human brain is not going to understand everything. And when you accept that, like most things in life, when you really accept that and you just let the energy flow through you and you accept that you might not understand it, it's when you least expect it that suddenly you understand it. It's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Amanda, the mind tricks us. The heart sees the truth, and then the mind complains about everything, but the heart says, I'm grateful to see. Yes, exactly. That's so true. That's why we're learning to be more in our hearts. And that's why it's important to find yourself occupying your time with more things that bring you genuine love, do things that bring you love and appreciation. Maybe that's being around people you love. Maybe that's taking walks. Maybe that's taking yourself on a date to your favorite place. Maybe it's playing music or whatever it is. Like do things it's like that will bring you back into your heart and back into your body. Because that's the way to live. I really feel that. I've been having the best time ever living in my heart and body more than I ever have before. And like not just feeling like a robot that just takes orders from my mind, that these orders don't even make sense when you think about them. It's like it doesn't even make sense. It really doesn't. That's breaking out of the mind control one-on-one for you. That's being a human, I guess. Thank you so much, One Om, once again. I really appreciate your love and encouragement. It really means a lot to me. I will be back soon. I know I've been having a little bit of a break, but it's just been so many things integrating. And that's really not an excuse because I can show up in any condition. And that's part of what I'm learning and just being me and being authentic. But yeah, life happens, I suppose. Hurricane Truth too. God is happiest when his children are at play. Yeah. Thanks, Metal Demon. That's funny. It's true. Yeah. CH Dante, I agree. Spirit free. I've never been scuba diving, but that sounds fun. I've always wanted to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you again to all of you. So much love to you all. Apocalypse Theory. I didn't block you on Instagram. I deactivated my Instagram for now. I just was taking a break from social media. No need to worry. Transcode du jour. When you close your eyes, you can feel a whole body of light inside, which connects directly to your soul. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much. Unless any final thoughts from anyone or anything else anyone here live wants to share, now is your time to let yourself be seen. Even if it's something silly or crazy, you might as well throw it in there if you want to. I guess we'll end this with a deep breath, everyone, wherever you are. Why don't we just take a deep breath and let it go and just take a moment now to integrate and appreciate. Integrate and appreciate this exchange, and it's not just me. I'm just a vessel. Really, I'm just a vessel. And I happen to be, I guess, perceptive to, what a lot of other people are feeling and learning and going through. And I'm happy to be that reflection. So much love to all of you. I always just want to encourage you all so much, send so much love and compassion to you. Give yourself credit, give yourself compassion. You can never have too much, and try to give others compassion too. Everybody's feeling this shit. Everybody's feeling this shit. I'm telling you, some people might not have the like vocabulary. Some people might not even have the conscious awareness of it, but I'm telling you, everybody is feeling this. And for a lot of people, especially people that maybe haven't been on any kind of spiritual or truth or rabbit holes like most of us have been, um, a lot of them are very scared. A lot of them are very confused. A lot of them have no freaking clue. I mean, none of us really do, but some of us are just a lot more okay with that, I guess. But it's very palpable in the collective consciousness that we have entered a totally new era. So it's exciting, it's interesting, and what do you want to contribute? What do you want to bring here that you already are through your presence alone? Your presence is your purpose. It's enough. And when you really appreciate that, that's when you start emanating out these beautiful expressions and creations that in your heart you already know what that means for you. So I honor you all. Thank you for being here. We're doing it. You're doing it. Again, just give yourself so much credit. I can't say it enough. I feel like that really needs to be said. And yeah, just keep doing it. We're doing it. Love you all so much, and I will see you next time. Goodbye for now. If you want to stay in touch, follow my newsletter, and I send stuff out most every week. So that's one way we can stay in touch. All right, bye everyone.